Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Just a few items today, nothing too big, but of course there is the aromatherapy sale that is today only, which I think it's $5.95 with an email coupon, so you cannot combine a coupon code with it. And it was funny because I was just like hoping, like once that this new aromatherapy stuff came out, I was like, please let there just be a $5.95 or like a $6 aromatherapy sale like sometime within this time frame so I can pick it up, and then bam, like literally the day that I thought of it, that night was when the email came up and I was like, oh my god, yes. So I scoped up what I wanted there. If you are my mother, your birthday is coming up and there's some few goodies in this haul for you, so please don't watch it unless you want the surprise ruined, which that's fine too. So there's some other miscellaneous things that I'll get into further down the haul. There are some gifties plus some stuff for me. So just a small little Christmas haul from BBW. Let's get right into it. Yeah, so the first thing we have is the Aromatherapy Rose Lavender Sleep. I think it's called like Starry Nights or Sleepy Nights or something like that, but it's like the sleep line of the aromatherapy stuff. There's lavender vanilla, a cedar wood vanilla, the eucalyptus spearmint stress relief, the chamomile bergamot, but that's actually just a black chamomile repackaged, and then of course the rose lavender right here. And I was just eyeing this was like all I wanted. Originally I was gonna get the cedar wood vanilla, but then when I was smelling it on cold or whatever, it just smelled a little bit too similar to like all the other like the Argan stuff that they put out that one year, and I still have some of that in my collection. I was just like, this seems a little duplicate, so I really shouldn't just even spend the $6 on it because it's just gonna collect dust in my collection at the end of the day. Whereas this one, I think I'll actually use and enjoy it. So it is indeed the rose lavender one right here. I do opt in and opt out of the moisturizing body wash, and I get instead like the shower gel or body wash and foam bath rather than the moisturizing body wash, the cream version, is because the cream version does tend to go bad a lot quicker than these. Like I can have these for like 7 years and they still won't go bad. Whereas the moisturizing body washes, those do turn sour after I would say about 2 to 3 years, so when the sort of time range as to when they go sour. Like once again, I have some from just like that wild blueberry, whenever that came out, like that turned sour like instantly, and I was just like, well, I didn't even get to use that. So I do prefer the body wash and foam bath version instead. This one just says, wind down and welcome the night with this carefully crafted essential blend to use as part of a bedtime ritual. Rose oil promotes feelings of comfort and connection, and lavender oil inspires tranquility. Breathe deeply for best results. I never buy these for the actual aromatherapy benefits. Like, are there even like proven benefits? Does it even say like clinically, proven or anything like that? I don't even know. It's just, yeah, I think it's just marketing BS. Cause like, so case in point is that there's that Love Rose Vanilla fragrance, which is supposed to be, promote confidence and feelings of closeness and love and all this kind of stuff. But then the same exact fragrance comes out as like, what was it? Candy coated rose or sweet candy rose? That bubble bath. Let me go grab it. Crystal Candy Rose, this thing I picked up for like 75% off or something. This is the same exact fragrance as Love Rose Vanilla, but there is absolutely no mention of this having aromatherapeutic benefits, even though it's the same exact fragrance as the Love Rose Vanilla one. And I guess you could argue this doesn't have essential oils or whatever in it to have aromatherapeutic qualities, but aromatherapy isn't that really because of the aroma or the fragrance. So this is Crystal Candy Rose and it's just Love Rose Vanilla, but then people might think this is something completely different from Love Rose Vanilla that's supposed to have all these aromatherapeutic benefits. So I don't fall for any of that. I'm just like, okay, it's another fragrance line that's probably going to be a little bit more like that sophisticated feel rather than the cutesy sweetsy stuff. But anywho, yeah, so we had this. I had the candle that I had already done a review on that comes out in the 1 wick jar right here. And I really enjoyed this one, but it wasn't very strong. But I think I enjoy the fragrance in home fragrance better than I do in body care. I only use this as hand wash once and I haven't used it in the shower tonight yet, so I can't fully report on it. But when I smell this, I feel like the lavender is so much stronger. You get that usual like sharp lavender oil fragrance mixed with just a little bit of a delicate floral rose component. But it is still quite like woodsy and crisp, and not your standard like overly perfumey rose fragrance that's like overly sweetened. It's not really like that. It's more like this dried rose petals mixed with like dry lavender, but I feel like the lavender in the body wash is so much stronger than it is in here, which I'm not a fan of. Yeah, this has that beautiful dried rose petal fragrance, mixed with a little bit of woodsiness, and the lavender isn't quite as sharp. That reminded me of like black tea rose and that same kind of dried rose petal fragrance with that woodsiness in there. It reminded me of that, but this reminds me more of their standard lavender fragrance. So yeah, I don't know. Some people were saying that the lotion was so strong it was giving them a headache, but then I saw some reviews saying that they had some unscented ones, so I don't even know. But yeah, not quite as jazzed about this as I was when I was burning the candle, but I haven't used it yet, so I don't know. I'm reserving judgment until I actually use it in the shower. So that's the rose lavender one. I'm just sort of jazzed that there's a rose and lavender coming out in the winter time. I'm like, those are totally like spring florals. I'm totally here for it. So yeah, I actually got 2 of these, one for my mom and one for myself. It's just sort of hard because you're sniffing it in store, but you don't want to really take your mask off, so you don't really know what it's actually going to smell like, and then it's like you don't know what it smells like until you've used it already, and at that point are you going to return it? I don't know. But there were 2 of those, $5.95 coupon action, and that was that. Then I wanted to get a few soaps for my mother. She's been talking about wanting to try the Gentle Gel hand soap one. Actually, the both of us have talked about it. And that's because the foaming one is so immensely drying. Like, those will absolutely beat up your hands, especially during the winter time when your hands are already cracked and dry. If you use the foaming ones, those will absolutely murder your hands. Like, I've done a test where I will use regular plain, like Miss Meyer's hand soap or soft soap for a week, and then I'll use a BBW foaming hand soap for a week. And then the difference is just like night and day, like all red, bloody, and cracking. It's just like disgusting. I'm just like, I don't. And then like they say it's gentle and doesn't dry you out and stuff. Like, ever since I like exposed them for being very drying, like many years back, they've tried a lot of marketing efforts to try to like sort of tone down how harsh the gentle foaming hand soap is when it's really harshly drying foaming soap. But anywho, I digress. Yeah. So the foaming one is just so immensely drying. And so, but then they would occasionally do the Creamy Luxe version, which was fine. And then they had the Nourishing one. Way back in the day, they used to have the Deep Cleansing, the Foaming, and the Nourishing. The Nourishing would be like the sort of the most gentle, like sort of somewhat moisturizing version. The Deep Cleansing one had the beads in it. And then you had the Foaming one, which was the most drying. And it was like a scale of Nourishing to deep cleansing, and then foaming would be sort of the scale of like how harsh they would be. And then they just canned all the other forms. They like stopped doing Creamy Luxe for a while too. And then all they were doing was just foaming. And I was like, I simply can't purchase, hand soap from Bath Body Works anymore because they're just so immensely drying. They just murder my hands. So I've been using like Ms. Meyer's and just other brands for the longest time. And then they finally sort of gently started promoting the Gentle Gel ones. I want to say at the beginning of this year, maybe even late last year, but it was only in like the White Barn core line, and there weren't a lot of varieties available. But maybe this, because like, with COVID and hand washing becoming more popular, maybe people are buying Gentle Gel a little bit more, that they finally have actual themed seasonal collections in the Gentle Gel one, which I'm pretty excited to see, because I was sick of all the foaming ones, and I'm just like, can't we just like do all varieties and both Gentle Gel and the foaming one? So I don't know. But the whole, like, when you look at the stuff in their stores, the signage, it says this Gentle Gel one's supposed to be gentle on your hands without drying. So I'm gonna put it to the test and see how it does. I've used this twice already, and it doesn't seem as drying as the foaming ones, but once again, it's more so you have to use it like a continued amount for like a week to see really how beat up your hands will get. And it's like, no, I don't want to use lotion after I wash my hands. The whole point of me washing my hands so they feel clean and pristine and not greasy and oily from putting on body lotion afterwards. Like, that totally defeats the purpose. Because like, if I'm on my computer or using the mouse or my phone, I don't want to be all greasy with lotion. So that totally defeats the purpose. So this will be my first adventure into trying the Gentle Gel ones, and we'll see. Let me know in the comments down below if you've had experience with the foamy ones being very drying, and if you've tried the Gentle Gel one, is it better? But so, for the 2 that I got for myself, was super jazzed to see this. Oh my god, I friggin' love this Sweater Weather Pocket Back. It's like almost better than the candle. Once again, there's like this, just a hint of the subtle like cinnamon spice in it, just it makes it a tad sweet. It's so fresh and crisp, it's just excellent. This is sage eucalyptus and fresh woods, made without dyes and parabens, hands leaving feeling clean and soft. Yeah, so cute packaging on that one. This one's the one I already started using. I did the 4 for $20 and then a survey coupon on it, so it came down to like $3 or something. This one, which I really enjoy, and this one's also supposed to be coming out in body care this year, which I'm pretty jazzed about, and that is the Coconut Mint Drop right there. I really like this fragrance. It's white coconut, ice peppermint, and winter musk. This is like a slightly perfumey body care mint fragrance with a hint of coconut, and you could almost even possibly get an implied chocolate note in it, but the like musk action in there just makes it a little bit more elevated or sophisticated than just a run-of-the-mill gourmand mint fragrance that I really enjoy. I believe I got the shower gel in that PR box a few years back, and I was just like, I would never try this if it wasn't for the fact that it was sent in that PR box or whatever. And then I like surprisingly grown to love it, and it's like one of the very few shower gels in my collection that have like maybe like a fifth left of it. So like I'm ready to buy a new one. So I'm actually pretty jazzed to hear that this might be coming out in body care on the holiday traditions this year as one of the later releases. So that's Coconut Mint Drop right there, and excited to see in the gentle gel version. Then for my mom, I figured since Christmas is coming around the corner and she might want some like fun, inviting, Christmas fragrances for hand soap at the sink, I did get the Winter Citrus Wreath, which is Balsam, Wreath, Fresh Citrus, and Forest Breeze. I think this has been out for a while. I just love how elegant and simple the packaging is on this. Oh my god, I love that. Yeah, this one's good. Yeah, I remember really enjoying this one when it came out a long time ago. You get that really juicy orange citrus note in there. It's almost like orange juice mixed with that balsam pine fragrance. I'm sort of like bummed that this is not actually a candle. But yeah, that's Winter Citrus Wreath right here. I think this has been out a lot. Then we have Frosted Cranberry, which is Frosted Cranberry, Red Delicious Apple, and Blonde Wood. I figured this would just be another safe, festive holiday fragrance. Smells like Frosted Cranberry. I don't really care for this in home fragrance, but I kind of like it as other formats. So that was Frosted Cranberry right there. Your usual tart, juicy cranberry mixed with a little bit of apple from BBW. And that was the Whopping Soap Haul. And then, so since I was doing the soap haul of 4 for $20, I need to get $30 to use my survey coupon. And this is one candle that I almost buy like every single year just because I like it so much, but it comes back all the time and it's super basic, so it's nothing that I really talk about. But it is indeed Fresh Balsam right there. Has this lid on it, has this packaging. This isn't even my favorite packaging, but I'll tell you in a minute as to why I picked this version over all the others. This is Woodland Balsam, Crisp Eucalyptus, Fir Branches, and Cedarwood. Simply excellent. Friggin' love this fragrance. It's so good. Tried and true. Comes back out all the time. It's available in an abundance. It usually comes out in the fall now, but it's that perfect, juicy, crisp, but clean and sweet, balsam fir, Christmas tree fragrance. It's so awesome. It's very crisp. It's very refreshing. It's usually always very strong, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they didn't water it down because they love to tweak existing fragrances. Like Marshmallow Fireside, they've completely destroyed. I don't understand what happened to that. I had like a brown Marshmallow Fireside that was in the brown, white, bar and core glass that was so strong and intense all the way down to the bottom. And then I bought it like a year or two later, and it just always nubs out. And it's like totally unscented. I don't know why they destroyed that. I don't know if what they do is they take popular fragrances that then they know sell no matter what, and they water those down and put less fragrance oils to up their profit margins. I don't really know what goes on, but I feel like Marshmallow Fireside has been like totally effed over. But so we're hoping Fresh Balsam is not bad. I think I bought it from 2 years ago, and I'm just trying to finish this one up, and that was this version. I think this was actually my second one of that year because I was so into it, but this one totally nubbed out on me. And so the thing is, the reason I picked out this packaging, even though it's not my favorite aesthetically, is when it's a top-selling fragrances, we have the luxury of being able to pick between multiple packagings. And I feel like normally people just gravitate towards what's the most prettiest, but I, as being somebody who cares more about performance, I do it based on what wicks and what color wax it is. And these are just like theories rather than proven, because I haven't burned all 3 versions to be able to verify it. But in my experience, candles that have darker wax colors, the dye will clog the wicks, and you will eventually get them to become puny because the dyes are clogging up the wicks. And then so the darker a candle is, the more hard it is for it to burn. Case in point, was it like Girlfriend one year had like black wax, and that like dudded out like no one's business. The Sugared Blueberry Doughnut from Candle Day, I think last year, had this really dark like teal color that dudded out like no one's business. Like you can't even get it to pull out like at all after the second or third burn. Like it's just total trash. So that's why this year there's a Vanilla Balsam that comes out in a really dark green wax, and I think it has the thick rope-like wicks, and I'm like, I would really want to buy Vanilla Balsam again this year, but it has dark wax and thick rope-like wicks. I don't know if it's going to dead out. Usually it does if it's dark wax plus the thick rope-like wicks. And so Fresh Balsam had 3 packagings this year, I believe. There's the White Barn Core version. That was a lighter green wax that was kind of like this. It had the thick core wicks, but it was a thicker and bigger size than the core wicks that were in this. I'm just like gonna geek out about wicks here for a while, so just sorry if you're not into that. But the White Barn Core version and the light green jar, which was very pretty, it had a green color that was similar to this with a thicker core wick than the one that I picked up. And in my experience, this one had the same kind of thing with the color wax and the same wicks, and it dudded out at the mid-range point. So I'm like, I don't want to do that either. And then there was the Fresh Balsam that's in like the wrapping paper one. That one I also think I had thick rope. No, they didn't have the thick rope like wicks. I had the thick core wicks with a similar green colored wax here again. And I was like, well, I don't want to get that one either because it's probably going to dot out in the same fashion as this. That's not to say that it's actually going to, but just if I have the luxury of multiple packagings, then I'm probably going to pick the one that has white wax because there's no dyes to F up with the wicks and clog it up. And this one had just like the thinner core wicks, meaning they didn't have to up the size of the wick to combat the dye being clogged, and it's just the plain white wax, and it's easier for white wax to burn because there's no dyes in it. So that's why I picked the white wax version with the thinner core wicks, because I'm hoping that it won't dud out like this one did, or like the darker wax ones with the thick rope-like wicks that get really nubby and puny. So that's why I picked up this version, and I'm hoping, we'll see if that theory proves right or not. Candle making is a very hard and finicky science, so there's no guarantee to that, but just if I had the luxury of picking different ones, I did that. So same with Tis the Season. Tis the Season I pick up every year, and I was almost gonna pick it up. I kept swapping it out between this and Fresh Balsam in the store because Tis the Season is another great fragrance that has that juicy apple in it mixed with a little bit of nutty fragrance and then a little bit of pine. It used to actually be called Holiday Wreath in green wax when it was first introduced in the Slatkin era, and that's another tried and true Christmas fragrance that I love burning every year. I just wasn't quite ready for it. But that one also has 3 packagings where it has the dark red wax in the red core jar with I think thick rope-like wicks. It has this packaging, which was white wax with the thin, the flat wicks that sort of curl in on you. And then there's the Tis the Season and the wrapping paper one, which has dark wax with, I think, thick rope-like wicks. So I figured that one's probably going to nub out because I had a dark red wax Tis the Season last year with thick rope-like wicks, and it totally nubbed out on me mid-range, and it was just trash after that. But there is thankfully this version that has white wax and the curling wicks, which is different from the thick rope-like wick one, that I'm hoping that if I do pick up Tis the Season this year, it would probably be this one because it's in white wax. So once again, there's less components and variables in the candle for the wicks to F up on. So that's my long-winded little geeky thing about candles, but we'll see if that actually pans out to be the case or not. So yeah, but actually I really love this fragrance. Excellent. It comes back all the time, but I love it so much. So that's Fresh Balsam right there. Wanted to pick up Vanilla Balsam, but I didn't because of the thick rope-like wicks and the dark wax. But case in point is that this was white wax and it still dudded out and nubbed out on me, but that's because it has vanilla in it, and vanilla is notorious for being hard to burn and a hard fragrance oil to work with. But I still totally recommend Vanilla Balsam, like even with the issues that I get with it dudding out. Gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. I don't think I ever smelled a vanilla like this from any other candle from them. It's like this super smooth, creamy, cool vanilla that sort of reminds me of ice cream. So I always say this smells like Fresh Balsam ice cream, but in the best way possible. Oh my god, delicious. This dudded out on me, so it got really brown and murky and wasn't performing well. I threw this on my hot plate candle warmer, and then bam, it was just like, oh my god, it was just, I had to turn it off after like 2 or 3 hours because it was just too much. Just deliciousness all up in this house, so strong. Just so juicy. I can't rave enough about Vanilla Balsam. It really is a beautiful fragrance. So I was actually excited to see that it came out on a white wax, I think 2 years ago, because then I could see if it would burn better or not. But this one did great for the first 2/3, and then it really nubbed out towards the last third. So I just threw this on a candle warmer and called it a day, and it was delicious. So if you haven't picked up the Vanilla Balsam and want a creamier, less harsh, and more delicious version of Fresh Balsam, I simply can't recommend Vanilla Balsam enough. But everybody knows this fragrance at this point, so I don't have to talk about too much about it. But that was just my plug for Vanilla Balsam. And I believe that is it. Yeah, everything else is pretty much the same old in the store. There were like rumors that Sweater Weather was a different fragrance this time around. I smelled it, and it smelled just like the one that I had from the original fall release right here from a few years ago. It has that apple fragrance with a little bit of like a unisex cologne fragrance. It's still fresh and clean and juicy from the apple. Freaking love sweater weather. But I was just like, I really don't need another one. Like I love this to pieces, but I'll just try to finish this one up. That totally smelled the same. Snowy Peachberry, I always thought Cranberry Peach, which is what it was last year, could be a very good body care fragrance because it smelled sort of like body care. So not surprising to see that in body care this year. That one smelled fine and juicy. If I didn't have like a million shower gels in my collection already, then maybe I would have picked it up. There wasn't really anything else. I finally smelled for the first time all those Zen spa, stargazing meditation and that stuff. Totally boring. The only one that was remotely interesting and I contemplated for a second was the hot spring spa one. Was kind of unique and delicious. But I was like, I really don't need that. So I left that there. And I think that's pretty much it. I believe tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday is supposed to be the Wallflower Try to Believe It days. So I think they're around like either $3 or $3.50. I'm not sure what the price is or if it's been confirmed yet. I am still debating if I won't even go in for that. Literally the only Wallflower I want, because if you've seen my Wallflower collection video, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. The lavender and pine smelled really delicious. They had a tester candle. I would kill for an actual 3-wick version of that. I think it was in that Nordic Evergreen collection last year when it popped up online or whatever, and it tested in certain stores. And there's a Wallflower of it this year that smelled excellent. It smelled exactly like how I would have imagined a lavender and pine fragrance to be. You get that crispness of the lavender mixed with the pine and it works really well. That I would love to have a Wallflower, but I'm just like, do I really want to go into the store just for a single Wallflower? And I don't think there's really anything else that I want. I think You're the Ones in Wallflower, but I don't really care for that fragrance. So I don't know. We'll see. I think last year that was when they brought out Pink Petal Tea Cake for Wallflower, specifically for that day. But I haven't seen any kind of backroom photos trickle in of any special, like for the day exclusive Wallflowers. So there's not really been anything there for like to draw us in who already own Wallflowers. So I don't know.